Today I'm going to talk about the modifications I made to my Nucanoe Frontier 12 kayak. I went to this model for this project because it's a little bit more stable and allows me to sit a little bit higher up, and it's a little bit more comfortable than the normal kayak projects I do. So I'm going to go through each modification I made, and then I'll go and do a little bit of a close-up and explain each one in a little bit more detail. In the back here, I have my Haswing Comax 12-volt 55-pound thrust trolling motor. This trolling motor is rated for both fresh and salt water, and also has an actuator that raises and lowers the prop unit. It also has built in a PWM, or pulse width modulator, speed controller. And it's all in one unit, which makes it really great. And I'm using it as a tiller in this project because this seat right here rotates 360 degrees. So it's not hard at all to turn this sideways, hold on to the tiller, and steer my kayak. What I've also done here is added a fish finder, and all my electrical wires run through the inside of the kayak. I also have a stand-up bar, my angle cooler that has rod holders on it, my Group 27 battery, which also has a quick connect so I can remove it at any time. And the motor also has a quick connect on it as well. So I can basically take all the heavy parts off this kayak and remove them for traveling, which makes it a lot easier. And then inside here is where I keep all my electronics. So now that you have the basic overview of it, I'll go into each part in detail. This is the trolling motor that I chose, and I also made a separate video that explains in detail what the properties are, which includes this Surefoot momentary switch that I made into a kill switch. And I also wired it into a quick disconnect, so for transportation I can take the motor off easily. On the back here I also mounted some Railblaza rod holder mounts, and I was able to use backings on them to make them more sturdy, and I've also done a separate video for that as well. Now near my seat I also mounted a 12-volt cigarette lighter type plug as well as a USB plug, so I can charge whatever I bring on board with me. And then also mounted on a 1.5-inch screwball is the fish finder, and that extension rod is something else I made, and there's also a video explaining how I did that. And the wires for that run through the kayak as well, using this Hobie 3-wire through-hole connector kit. Here's a better view of my stand-up bar, and what I have mounted down there on the bottom is my Angle dry box cooler that has 4 rod holders that I can use when I'm using the standing bar to fish. And how I have that connected in is I made these brackets here out of some plumbing galvanized steel straps, and then I just molded them to what I needed to do and then wrapped them in electrical tape, and they're mounted to the track here of the stand-up bar using the Nucanoe Freedom mounts. And as I go up front here, this is where I'm going to have my Group 27 battery. And what I did to mount this is I used the Nucanoe Freedom Track straps. But in order to keep the battery box from moving, I actually used these brackets, which are supposed to be used to strap your battery down to the kayak, and I mounted them on top of the battery box to keep it from sliding. And you can see I have my positive and negative wiring coming out, and it goes to this quick connect plug here. And beneath the battery I mounted 2 yoga blocks to help with the stability and the deflection in the kayak itself, and I also have my shoot-through hole fish finder transducer mounted in there. As I previously stated, I mounted all my electronics inside the front waterproof hatch of the Nucanoe Frontier 12. I used the existing bolts that were in the hatch and mounted a 6-circuit waterproof fuse box that I used to power my smaller electronic chargers and my fish finder. And above that I have a 60 amp circuit breaker that goes directly to the trolling motor. So that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. Thank you.